Jane Eyre, Chapter 4. Before going to Lowood School, Jane is interviewed by Mr. Brocklehurst, the manager of the school. He asks Jane about her religious views, age, and name.
This is the little girl respecting whom I applied to.
Her size is small. What is her age?
10 years.
So much. Your name, little girl?
Jane Eyre, sir.
Well, Jane Eyre. And are you a good child?
Perhaps the less said on that subject, the better, Mr. Brocklehurst.
I am sorry indeed to hear it. No sight so sad as that of a naughty child, especially a naughty girl. Do you know where the wicked go after death?
They go to hell.
And what is hell? Can you tell me that?
A pit full of fire.
And should you like to fall into that pit and be burning there forever?
No, sir.
What must you do to avoid it?
I must keep in good health and not die.
How can you keep in good health? Children younger than you die daily. Do you say your prayers night and morning?
Yes, sir.
Do you read your Bible?
Sometimes.
With pleasure? Are you fond of it?
Bits of it.
Bits of it. Shocking. I have a little boy, younger than you, who knows 6 psalms by heart, and much else. When you ask him whether he would rather have a gingerbread nut or learn a psalm, he says, "Oh, a psalm to learn. Angels sing psalms, and I wish to be a little angel here below." He then gets 2 nuts as reward for his piety.
But psalms are not interesting.
That proves you have a wicked heart. And you must pray to God to change it.
Mrs. Reed tells him that Jane is a bad girl and a liar. Mrs. Reed asks Mr. Brocklehurst to accept Jane at school and make the teachers keep a strict eye upon her.
Should you admit her into Lowood School? Be silent, child. Should you consent to do so, Mr. Brocklehurst, I would be glad if the superintendent and teachers were requested to keep a strict eye upon her, and above all, to guard against her worst fault.
Mr. Brocklehurst promises Mrs. Reed that life at Lowood will make Jane a good person.
As to your wishes, I assure you that the pupils at Lowood are taught humility as a Christian grace, and that worldly pride must be mortified.
That is a state of things I quite approve.
Plain food, simple attire, hardy accommodation, and constant activity. Such is the order of the day at Lowood.
Quite right, sir.
Before leaving,
Goodbye.
Mr. Brocklehurst gives Jane a book
Remember me
about death.
Miss Brocklehurst, and Augustine Theodore, and Master Broughton Brocklehurst.
I will indeed. Here is a book entitled The Child's Guide. Read it with prayer, especially the account of the torments inflicted in hell upon deceitful children.
When Mr. Brocklehurst leaves, Jane confronts Mrs. Reed and tells her that she's not a liar and she doesn't like her. She also tells her that she wants to come to visit her when she leaves Gateshead.
I am not deceitful. If I were, I should say I loved you. But I declare I do not love you. I dislike you the worst of anyone in the world except John Reed. And this book about the liar, you may give it to your girl Georgiana. She's the one who tells lies and not I.
What more have you to say?
I'm glad you are no relation of mine. I will never call you aunt again as long as I live. I will never come to see you when I'm grown up. And if anyone asks me how I liked you and how you treated me, I'll say the very thought of you makes me sick and that you treat me with miserable cruelty.
في الفصل الرابع من القصة، وبعد ما جين فكرت ان هي خلاص هتبعد عن الجيتس هاد ومشاكلها مع ميسيس ريد وأولادها، لكن جين بتتصدم من ادعاءات ميسيس ريد، وهي بتقول لمدير المدرسة اللي جين هتروحها إن جين بنت سيئة وكدابة. طبعا الكلام ده مش صحيح، وده اللي خلى جين تدافع عن نفسها وتواجه ميسيس ريد وتقول إن هي مش كدابة، وكمان بتقول لها إن هي بتكرهها ومش هتيجي تزورها تاني أو تشوفها لما تكبر. وهنا برضو بنشوف شخصية مستر بروكلهurst اللي واضح إنه هو شخص حازم وبيتعامل مع الأطفال بشدة وقسوة.
Jane, you do not understand about these things. Children must be corrected for their faults.
Deceit is not my fault.
Oh, but you are passionate, Jane. That you must allow. Oh, return to your room, Jane, there's a dear, and lie down a little.
I am not your dear. Send me to school, Mrs. Reed, for I hate to live here.
وبكده نكون وصلنا لنهاية حلقة النهاردة. أشوفكم على خير إن شاء الله الحلقة الجاية. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.